Welcome to take 1 million of this video, intervals, specific intervals part 2. I hope I make it through this time without having to start again. So the objectives are to review generic intervals on the staff, to review the types of specific intervals, to review the interval groups, all stuff we did in the last videos, and then we're going to introduce the possibilities for each of these groups, and then we're going to apply the possibilities. So, what were the intervals? We had our generic intervals of first, second, thirds, fourths, etc. up to eighths. Then we had certain types of intervals that we're going to have now, not just generic intervals. Now we can have augmented intervals, like an augmented second, or a major second, or a perfect fourth, or a minor sixth, or a diminished eighth. And then we took the group intervals and we split them into groups. We had the perfect intervals and we had the major minor intervals. In the perfect intervals, we placed firsts, fourths, fifths, and eighths. And in the major minor group, we placed seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. It's important to remember which group they're in because now we're going to look at the possibilities for the groups. So in the perfect interval group, you can only have these types of intervals. You can only have diminished intervals, so a diminished first. You can only have perfect intervals, so a perfect first, or augmented intervals. Those are the only possibilities. You can have a diminished, perfect, or augmented first. And in the major minor group, we have 4 possibilities. You can have a diminished second, a minor second, a major second, or an augmented second. So any interval that was in that group would fall into those categories. So let's show you exactly what it looks like. Here's how we apply it. The perfect intervals, we can have a diminished first, a perfect first, or an augmented first. What was the other type of interval that fell into the perfect group? We had fourths, diminished fourth, perfect fourth, augmented fourth. And then fifths, you could have a diminished fifth, a perfect fifth, an augmented fifth. And then finally, in the last interval in that group was the eighth or the octave, a diminished eighth, a perfect eighth, or an augmented eighth. And now on the other side, our major minor intervals, you had seconds, but we have 4 possibilities now for seconds. We can have a diminished second, a minor second, a major second, or an augmented second. But we cannot have a perfect second. It does not go with that group. We can have diminished thirds, minor thirds, major thirds, and augmented thirds, but no perfect thirds. And then same with sixths and same with sevenths. So this is the beginning of learning the different types of intervals that you can have. So I made it. Thanks for watching.